Hi there, Doug from Taostats. And here at the end of January 2026, we're making a pretty significant change to the way that you stake and buy and sell alpha on Taostats. And the difference is we are changing some of the terminology, and we're going to talk about price impact and how that is different from slippage. And hopefully this video is going to be a good introduction to the two terms, how they're different, and sort of how they're the same. So I've used this example before where you're taking 50 Tau, you're buying alpha through a liquidity pool. And whenever you buy alpha through a liquidity pool, there's a change in price. And in the past, we've called that slippage. But what it really is, it's the price impact. There's an impact of making a transaction through a liquidity pool. It's not anything that any of us can control. If you're making a transaction through the liquidity pool, there's going to be an impact, and we're calling that the price impact. In this case, it's a 1% price impact. So how is that different from slippage? Slippage happens when there's another transaction in front of you. For example, in this case, a MEV bot, this evil dude, is jumping in front of you and making another transaction on the same block. And what happens is when he makes that transaction, he changes the price and he changes the contents of the liquidity pool. And at the end of that transaction, you end up with a 5% change. So instead of that $4.95 that you saw in the same transaction, now it's $4.75 that you get. It's not all slippage. There's the 1% that's price impact. There's 4% that's slippage. And the overall change is 5%. And so what we're changing on Taostats is we're introducing price impact and slippage. So let's see how that looks. Anywhere that you are on Taostats, when you start to enter a trade, you'll put in how much Tau you want to use or how much alpha you want to sell. And instead of showing what used to say slippage, we're now calling that price impact. Because again, it's not slippage. It is calculated the same way as slippage, but it's the impact of buying through a liquidity pool. And it's just there because that's what the chain does. Then you can set your slippage. So your slippage is a value that you can change. And here I've set the slippage to 0.5%. And so when this transaction is run, it will be set with a limit so that it can't exceed that limit. And the limit is the sum of the price impact plus the slippage. So in this case, it's 0.83% plus 0.5%, which is 1.33% total change. This is now live on every single page on Taostats. So you can see here I'm on subnet 19, and you can see there's a price impact. When I make the transaction, it will be the price impact of 0.3% plus the slippage I've set here of 0.1%. So it would be a 0.4% overall impact that I would allow in my transaction. If you look at all of the transactions on chain, we have a column that used to show slippage. We are now calling it price impact plus slippage. In the next week or two, we will split this out. So for every single transaction, you will be able to see the discrete price impact and the slippage broken off into two numbers. Of course, if you add them together, that would be the total impact of the transaction. While this is a small change, it does make it a little bit more intuitive of what's happening on chain. When you set a slippage percentage at Taostats, it's now how much you're willing to go above the price impact that's already there. Whereas before, you had to take into account the price impact in addition to the slippage you are comfortable with to create a single number. Now we're separating off that price impact, and you can say how much over that price impact you're willing to go. It's going to make a lot of the UI actually a lot simpler because you see the price impact and then you say, here's the slippage I'm willing to go over, and then you can complete your transaction. So as we get used to this new feature, it's going to be a lot clearer and make a lot more sense, and hopefully making buying and selling alpha a lot clearer when you're using Taostats. So thanks for watching. We're excited to hear what you guys think.